Good morning and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today I want to talk about the real estate market in Dublin, the capital of the Republic of Ireland. I'll give you 10 reasons why I think this is a very good market that you can invest in. I'll give you two major disadvantages as well and my conclusion at the end. So let's get straight down to it. Here are 10 reasons to invest in the Dublin real estate market. Number one, if you look at Ireland, the GDP per capita is 90,000 US dollars. Now that is really, really high and is second to only Luxembourg in Europe and is approximately double that of the United Kingdom and France. Reason number two, the economy. Now the economy in Ireland in the last 5 years or so has been absolutely thriving. The GDP growth has been really, really good. So if we take the relevant years, 2019, the Irish economy grew by 5.5%. And according to the World Bank, in 2018, it grew by 8.1%. In 2017, it grew by 8.2%. In 2016, it grew by 3.7%. And listen to this, in 2015, it grew by an incredible 25.1%. And this is mainly due to the number of multinationals that are moving into Ireland, in particular Dublin, because of the very low corporation tax at 12.5%. And I just want to give you another outstanding thing about Ireland. It looks as though in 2020, the year of COVID-19, the Irish economy did not go into recession. So according to the FT, which I read an article about 3 to 4 weeks ago, the Irish economy may grow as much as 3% in 2020, which is really, really remarkable given the circumstances we've been in. Reason number three, I want to go back to the multinationals. So if you look at many household names such as Google, Facebook, eBay, PayPal, Airbnb, Microsoft, Yahoo, LinkedIn, they all have their European headquarters in Dublin. And indeed, Dublin is the number one place per capita for companies having their headquarters in Europe. And this is no small fact due to, obviously, as I was saying before, the low corporation tax rate of 12.5%, but also the highly skilled workforce. And let's not forget, Dublin, Ireland has the advantage that English is the number one language. So it has that same advantage that London has here in Europe. Number four, I want to go to the total government debt to GDP. In 2013, it was very high at 119%, but as of 2019, it had come right down to 58%, and that augurs well for the future. Number five, I want to talk about population growth, and in particular, let's stick to Dublin. So in 2000, the population of Dublin was 989,000. But as of 2020, at the end of last year, this had grown to 1,228,000. And according to most experts, it looks as though by 2035, the population of Dublin will reach 1.4 million, so 1,400,000 at least. And that, I'm sure you'll agree, is very good for the real estate market, population growth. But also listen to this, Dublin is a very youthful city, so nearly half the residents are under the age of 30. Again, that is excellent for the housing market. Number six, I want to talk about Dublin dominance in Ireland. So Dublin accounts for almost half of Ireland's GDP. And this is despite only having about just under a quarter of the Irish population. So it does show how important Dublin is to Ireland. And the FT actually said that Dublin is the second most attractive city for foreign investment. Number seven, let's talk about tourism. So tourism has grown in Ireland as well. So in 2010, you had approximately around 7 million overseas visitors visiting Ireland every year. Now, by 2018, this had grown to 11 million. And the vast majority, most of these actually go to Dublin. Listen to this too. Dublin has the highest hotel occupancy rate in Europe. Number eight, let's come to prices in Dublin. Now, if we look at Dublin when we compare it to other major cities in Western Europe, the prices are not too bad. So in the city centre prime real estate, they expect to pay around €5,500 per square metre, and outside the city centre around 4,000 or just under €4,000 per square metre. Now, I know this is not particularly cheap, but when you consider how rich Dublin is, it's not too bad, and I think prices will grow in the future. And let's just make a couple of comparisons. So in London, if we compare to Dublin, although the wages are about 15 to 20% higher than Dublin, property prices in the centre of London are approximately about 130% more expensive than the centre of Dublin. Now, that's a massive difference. And when we compare it to Paris as well, let's compare Dublin to Paris. Now, in Paris, the wages are actually slightly lower than Dublin, but property prices, again, if we take the whole of Paris, are around 130% more expensive than Dublin. So this does show Dublin in a favourable light against comparable other Western European cities. Number 9, I want to talk about the excellent yields. So expect in Dublin on average to get yields of about 6 to 7, gross rental yields of around 6 or 7%. Now compare this again to Paris, where you're looking at 3 to 3.5%, and London around 3.5%. It does show that the yields are really, really good in Dublin, in particular for a Western European capital. And if you look, if you scour the internet, if you look at properties for sale and what yields they have, if one bedrooms do score very, very highly, and you can indeed get up to 10% gross yields in certain parts of Dublin. I was looking at the internet, so for one bedrooms in areas like Dublin 8, for example, Portobello and Dublin 8, which is quite desirable, you could easily find 8% gross yields or slightly over that. Dublin 10, Dublin 11, Dublin 17, I believe it was, Dublin 15 and Dublin 22 were all really, really good for gross rental yields. My favourite is actually Dublin 1 because you can get one bedrooms quite cheaply and very good yields. But if you do your research, you can get some really, really good yields in Dublin. Number 10, I want to come to other. So here are other reasons why Dublin in Ireland is a good market. So there are no restrictions on foreign buyers. The buy-sell costs are not particularly high in Ireland, so we're looking at around the 10% mark, and this would include things like stamp duty, legal fees, and real estate agent fees. Now, rental income tax is 20%. I guess that is not particularly low, but there are generous deductions, so we're looking at deductions for repair, maintenance, ground rent, management fees, accountancy fees, local authority rates, mortgage interest, and as well there are capital allowances. So if you buy, let's say, a piece of furniture for €1,000, every year you can deduct 125 over 8 years. They allow you to deduct about €125 a year against rental income tax. So again, if it's 2,000, if you spend 2,000 on a piece of furniture over 8 years, you can double that deduction over 8 years. So I think these are 10 pretty good reasons for investing in Dublin. However, there are two major disadvantages. Now, over the last few years, Ireland has become, like many Western European countries, has become more and more pro-tenant. So the legal climate has definitely swung towards the tenant, and it is becoming more difficult to evict tenants for non-payments. But I think the second reason is really, it's not a deal breaker, but capital gains tax is 33%. And that is extremely high. And I did find that when I did look this up, I did find the figure quite shocking. Although, it does include the usual deductions for, let's say, acquisition costs, selling costs, enhancements as well. But 33% is really, really high. And it makes Dublin, for me, rather than being an 8.5 to 9 out of 10, around a 7 out of 10. So what's my conclusion? I think, if you're a medium-sized investor looking to invest around €250,000 and getting some good yields, I think you will do quite well in Dublin. And I would go for Dublin 1. I know it's not as nice as Dublin 2. It's a little run down, but it is in the centre and you will get good yields. And you never know, if Dublin 1 does pick up in the future, I think prices could go up. There's a lot more scope for price increase in Dublin 1 and the yields are very good. Anyway, I'd love to know your thoughts on Dublin. Have you ever considered investing? Has this video perhaps encouraged you to invest in Dublin or to look into Dublin as a real estate market? Anyway, if you like this video, please help me by clicking the like button. If you like my channel, please do subscribe, and I'll see you very soon. Have a great day and bye for now.